What if I told you that right now, somewhere in the world? A teenager is holding a dusty letter, a fragile photograph, or an artifact that could completely change what we know about history. Sounds dramatic? Good. Because it is. Imagine you wake up one morning thinking you're just going to school, but instead end up protecting a 500-year-old truth from vanishing forever. Every year, thousands of students take part in National History Day, and no, this isn't your regular write-and-essay competition. This is investigative journalism, historical preservation, and storytelling rolled into one. Students aren't just reading history, they're saving it. And here's the part that gives me chills. Many of these young historians dig up stories that even experts have overlooked. These are the moments where a 16-year-old suddenly becomes a guardian of truth. Okay, quick question. When you were 16, were you documenting history or just Googling how to pass math without studying? Exactly, these kids are playing. At a whole different level, this year's theme for National History Day 2025 is Turning Points in History. Students are finding those moments, big and small, when the world changed forever. Some are uncovering personal family stories from war. Others are piecing together the forgotten struggles of communities. But here's where it gets powerful. History isn't just about facts. It's about the moral compass it gives us. Take the story of Ertugrul Ghazi, the father of the Ottoman Empire. He once faced a dilemma: punish a man for theft or forgive him after hearing his story. Ertugrul chose forgiveness, and not because he was weak, but because he knew mercy could turn an enemy into an ally. That decision changed a man's life, and in turn, changed the loyalty of an entire tribe. This is what students are learning. History isn't just dates and events. It's the choices people made that shaped nations. And speaking of choices, one student this year uncovered something so controversial. Even their local museum didn't want to display it. We'll get to that. Preserving history is urgent. Because for every artifact saved, there are a dozen lost to time, neglect, or worse. Deliberate erasure. National History Day forces young minds to confront a sobering truth. If they don't tell these stories, no one else will. And here's the twist. The most groundbreaking finds aren't sitting in locked archives. They're in family basements, old trunks, and dusty attics, waiting for someone curious enough to look. By the way, if you haven't called your grandparents recently, this might be the sign. Seriously. You never know if they've got a World War II diary lying around next to the pickle jars. Some of the most powerful projects this year are coming. From students in small towns, places where history is woven into the streets but rarely documented. One student discovered letters from a soldier who fought in both World War I and II. His story was never in the history books. This is exactly why we need them. Because when history fades, it doesn't just disappear. It takes identity with it, and yet, some stories are so challenging that telling them can put the student in danger. One project this year is facing backlash for revealing a hidden truth about a nation's founding. That's the real beauty and weight of this work. It's not just about what you find, but the courage to share it, knowing it might shake people's beliefs. When you think about it, these students are doing exactly what Ertugrul Ghazi did centuries ago, protecting the truth even when it's inconvenient, standing firm even when it risks their safety. That's not just history, that's legacy. If you believe history should be in the hands of those who care most, and you think these young historians deserve the spotlight, hit that subscribe button now, because here we don't just tell stories, we keep them alive. National History Day isn't just an event, it's a training ground for the leaders of tomorrow. I think these students are learning how to research, how to present, and more importantly, how to think critically in a world overflowing with misinformation. There's also a unifying force here. Whether you're in the US, India, or the Philippines, we all have turning points in our own history. And here's the thing, the lessons they teach are universal. Courage, resilience, empathy. Take another moment from Ertugrul's life. Once, a spy was caught in his camp. Instead of immediate punishment, Ertugrul gave the man bread and water, treating him with dignity. That kindness led the spy to abandon his mission and join his side. Sometimes compassion changes the course of history more than the sword. In 2025, projects from students are crossing borders, literally. Digital archives allow these stories to reach people who might never set foot in the countries they're about. A student in Manila could be preserving a story from a small village. In Turkey, a teenager in Kansas might be documenting the history of an Indian independence activist. The urgency is real. Climate change, urban development, even war, they're all erasing physical traces of the past. If we don't act now, some of these treasures will vanish within a decade. So, when you see a 15-year-old digging through archives or interviewing a war veteran, remember, they're not just doing a school project. They're acting as time travelers, pulling the past into the present so the future can still learn from it. And who knows? The next great truth in history might not come from a famous scholar, but from a student who refused to let a story die. And that student who uncovered a truth too controversial for their museum? Let's just say, it's not staying hidden much longer. Because history doesn't care about comfort, it cares about truth. So what's in your attic?